In this video, I'm going to show you guys a unique style of tarping.
Believe in yourself, who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Believe in yourself, yeah. Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Believe in yourself. Health is wealth. Gotta get mine. Faster than a step. Alright, I can make 100,000 just sitting by the steps.
Alright, welcome to another edition of Truckin with LoShawn. Parks, you guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. And in this video, once again, like I said in the intro, I'm going to be showing you guys a unique style by a friend of mine by the name of Rob Bolin. It's a pretty cool aerodynamic tarping style that I utilized, and it really does work efficiently, and it also makes the tarping job look excellent while you're going down the road. So this is dedicated for the flatbed guys who are looking at how to do a different style of tarping. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video right now. Rob, it's all yours, man. Teach them what you know.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Truckin' Rob, and I'm gonna do a video for you today about what I call my Aero Tarp. First thing we start out with here, obviously, is throw the tarp on. I got 5 suicide coils on there. Have a little bit extra tarp left over here, and in the back. It's pretty critical that you've got this extra here, or else it's not going to work. Just want to start off by making sure it's centered left and right, and front and back, that you've got your spacing even. And then the important part to my thing, and some of the an old dog taught me this, to use rope. Don't use bungees on the corners. I just use rope on the corners. The rest of the sides get bungees, but rope doesn't stretch like a bungee will, so it'll keep it real nice and tight. If you do it with a bungee, it's just not going to work. Now I'll pick you up some rope, and these are cut, oh, I don't know, about 4 feet, I guess, and then tie yourself a loop in each one. Just a simple, nothing fancy, just a loop. All right, you're going to need 4 pieces, 1 for each corner. First thing I'll do is kind of tuck this in, and we're after this seam and this grommet right here. So I want to grab that grommet and fish your rope through there like so. Tighten that up. There you go. That's that end of it. Now I'll generally grab a spool, one of a spool, or you can do it wherever it works, wherever this lines up for you. But I like the spools. It's a little bit easier to wrap around and tie off to. Let's kind of tuck that under there. Now this is pretty important, this placement here. You don't want to be pulling on it. You don't want it there, because you're going to come up, you can see, maybe you can see that grommet over there. It's here. So what you want is this grommet to be right at the edge, right around right there. Now this first one, this is the first corner. I'm not pulling real tight. I'm just setting up right here, and I'm not pulling on it. Not worried about tightness yet. This is just step 1 here. You got to start on 1 corner. So I just wrap it around. Give it a few wraps. Maybe you could use just a little bit shorter rope, but I like doing a few wraps just in case it wants to come loose on you. And then I'll this is just basic, kind of a slip knot, I guess. Now we'll go to the opposite corner. All right, so we tuck under, and see how that grommet is at the same spot as the other one. Pretty important. So do the same thing over here. Tie that up. Now, you don't want to pull tight. We want to go to the same grommet. We want this to be nice and square. So don't worry about this yet. Just tie off right here. Do the same thing that we did over there. Kind of neaten that up a little bit there. Now this one, you want to pull tight this way towards you. And generally I'll wrap it usually once, just so it has something to hold on to and get that sucker good and tight. Okay, that sucker's good and tight, and so it's flat up against the that's why I moved that around, so it's kind of flat there. And just make sure that sucker's really tight. One wrap around will help you keep it tight. I'm always pulling on this one just to keep it tight. I wrapped around. Nothing special on this. And then the same kind of knot. All right, so not too worried about the middle. I'm worried about this grommet here. This is the same grommet that we used in the front. Tuck that under there. Now, on this one, we're gonna start pulling. We want this to start getting really tight. Okay, so do whatever you gotta do. Really get this tight, guys. All right, shank on it a few times. Hey, look at that, we got lucky. We ended up right at a spool. So we got it tight. I'll go one loop around to just to help kind of keep it tight, and then pull. See how that's not really snapping back at you if you do one loop around the spool. And now this is the tricky part. It's you got to keep that rope tight. You can't let it be slacking up on you, or else it's going to be loose, right? Make sense? Once you get a couple wraps around the spool, you can kind of relax on it a little bit because it's not going anywhere. So don't be afraid to ask guys how to do stuff, you know. Put your damn phone down, you know, when you're sitting at these shippers and receivers. Put your damn phone away and pay attention to what other people are doing. You might see some really good things, and I guarantee you, you're gonna see some really bad things. So don't be afraid to get out and ask questions. We're all brothers and sisters out here. We're supposed to help each other. Now you can see this is really starting to take shape. So again, we want to hit the same spool as we did on the other side. Now this one is the important one because we've got all the others good and tight. So this one, you really got to pull on it and keep that sucker tight, tight, tight. That's the trick to this style here. All right, wrap it around. A lot of people do bungees, and it just doesn't turn out the same, you know. You don't have this tightness with a bungee, not for very long anyway. Once you get out in the wind, it's going to come loose on you and it'll be flopping around. We don't like that, do we? So, trying to look good out here. So tie this off. So, all right, we're good and tight there. Now, sometimes people will say, oh, well, but wind and rain and stuff is going to get under there. Not so much. I mean, if you've got something super critical that you're really worried about, you might not want to do this. I've never had any problems. I've never had anything get wet underneath there. I mean, we've got a good 4 or 5 feet before I get to the product. So I've got all that space there that, for, you know, if anything's going to get in there, I highly doubt it's going to reach the product. So, and anyway, when the wind hits it, it will push it down. And the same thing in the front. Now this, when the wind hits it, it will push it down against the deck. And again, I've never ever had any problems with it. Now I'll start in the middle, or kind of in the middle. This isn't you know, crazy. We'll just start right here. What I want to do is make sure that we've got even pull left to right. So I'll do one here and then maybe one here. Just tuck that under there nice and neat. And this is just a kind of a temporary bungee. That's why I'll just hook it to something. Come here and hook it to the rail. And we'll do one more. You don't want to pull too tight on these because the other side is still loose, right? So if we go yanking, putting all these bungees on, it's going to pull the whole tarp to this side. And then once you go over and do the other side, you're going to be fighting that. So this kind of snug. I'm not wrenching on it. I'm just kind of pulling on it just a little bit, just to kind of hold it. And then we'll walk over to the other side. We'll kind of do the same thing. On this side, we'll kind of skip bungees, we'll call it, just so that we're holding it. We don't want it to move around on us. Just kind of pull it away from yourself. Don't ever pull it toward your face for obvious reasons. Kind of yank it down away from yourself, so if it does break, it's not a big deal. All right, so we've got a few on here that can just hold it. So now we're set side to side. We can pretty much go to any side and yank as hard as we want, and this sucker ain't gonna go anywhere. All this now, we want to be pulling, we want to pull the ends in this way. That way that's just the way everything wants to work on this. So we'll start here, I'm yanking it down away from myself, and then we'll hook into this guy. Now every tarp load is different. I've gotten to where I can use very few bungees. See how I kind of stitched that, you know? Get creative, guys, you know? You can tell here this one's kind of old, so be careful. It might just break on us. So I'll kind of wrap that around the pocket. I probably shouldn't use that one. That one's pretty old, but we'll see. So I'll stitch it, you know. There's no reason to be using 52 bungees. You see some of these guys rolling down the road and they've got like 126 bungees on there, you know. And come around the spool and then come up and grab that guy. And then we'll just kind of work our way forward here. Undoing these. Maybe I'll come through and grab this one again. All right. So again, I'll stitch it. Again, every tarp job is different, guys. So you know, we might have one that's a little bit taller, a little bit shorter. You know, this might be down here. Everything's different. Everything changes. That's kind of what I like about flatbed is there's so many. There's always something different. You know, even though you've pulled the load, the same load, you know, 20 times, it's different. You know, see how we've got it kind of folding over, you know, because the wind is going this way. So any kind of pockets like that you want going that way. Kind of common sense, right? But you'd be surprised out here. Again, stitch this, and this will help hold that flap down there. Go up here to this guy, like so. Get this guy. Now, I like to, a lot of guys just go over the rail. I kind of split it, you know. It's a rub rail for a reason. It's so if you do rub something, it's not going to hit the bungee. Sometimes, you know, whatever, you know. But on a lot of them, you'll see I keep it inside the rail, and then I'm undoing the temporary ones that I did, and then just kind of stitching them through here, you know. They were just to hold it. Yeah, you know, I probably could have stitched it. If I would have stitched those, if I would have done those first, it would bunch it up. So that's why I try to pull straight down on your first few bungees, just so it stays put. You know, you don't want it cinched together. You're going to be fighting it, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to say, oh, I give up, I quit, I'm doing something wrong. All right, guys, well, there you go. That is the Aero Tarp. You guys get the idea. There it is. All right, guys, well, I'm glad I had the opportunity to finally show you this. If you're new to the channel, I'm gonna be doing lots of stuff like this. We did get into securement, more tarping, all that sort of stuff. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this, leave me some feedback, and like this, share this, and stay tuned.
All right, hope you guys enjoyed that video right there. I want to go ahead and give a thank you to Rob for allowing me to go ahead and utilize that video off of his YouTube channel. Once again, some people may not know him on YouTube, and once again, you guys can search him on YouTube as Trucking Rob. Guys, take a look at it. If you're in flatbed, he has a lot of great information. Even if you're not in flatbed and you're just in trucking, he has a lot of information for you guys as well. All right, so I hope that you guys learned something today. Get in the comment box, speak about how you feel about it, and until the next video, y'all be safe and don't do nothing I wouldn't do, like being safe. And as always, winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners, and we winning all day right here with Truckin with LoShawn.
Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? You believe in yourself, yeah. Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Believe in yourself. Health is wealth. Gotta get mine. Faster than a step. Alright, I can make 100,000 just sitting by the steps.